I'll just actually. Oh, am I live? Probably live. I didn't know how long it was going to take. Yep, we're live. We're good to go. What a whirlwind at work today. And I think I'm hungry. I think I'm thirsty. I can't really tell. But we had folks job shadowing us, trying to figure out how to do the job because they're new and stuff. So trying to, trying to do the thing, trying to do your job and explain what you're doing as you're doing it, every little tiny little detail, you like that? I knew you'd like that. So we got multiple levels of kindnesses, and I'm thankful for the kindness, the thoughtfulness, and I want to talk a little bit about it. So on one, I'd like to say thank you so much for your all's interest in buying my wife's necklaces that I showed you guys on stream. The stream, if you want to reference it, just find out which one you might want. Just let me know, and we'll work it out. It was the stream C because I think that they're great, and yeah. And she has more. I didn't show all of them. She's kind of partial to some of the ones she's made, and she's making more. And that's part of one of you guys' comments about having a side hustle. So, so here's one of the things. I have had 3 jobs at one time before. And I know what it's like to be out of the home more than 80 hours a week. Okay. And I also know that I would rather live in poverty than be away from home for that amount of time. No pain, no gain. I understand all of that. But I also have lived enough life to know that there's a certain level of trap to chasing the money. You got to do what you got to do. Yes, absolutely. And you also have to prioritize and know what you value, because there's that too. And prioritize the things you value. More than I value money. So it's and great ways of some of you all have been sending me comments about this RV concept and lifestyle change and all of that. And I'll be sharing your comments with my wife because I want us to both have the same critical thinking, and critique and rebuttal and stillman argument and whatever way you want to look at it. We've done philosophical conversations on a lot of the things that you guys mentioned. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And $500 to $700 less per month. Obviously, all of that is not just savings. It's also would need to be set aside to prepare for situations that may arise, like a water pump, for instance, as one of you mentioned, and that is all part of it. And there is only so much that you can reduce. Here's the way that my wife and I look at things. And for instance, my wife and I have worked together, shoulder to shoulder, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, always together for periods of time. And in fact, when we lived in DC, not only did we work together, see, like when we've lived in other cities, oftentimes what will happen is my wife will find her way to a coffee shop to get away, to just focus on writing, to focus on journaling, to focus on Bible study. She'll get away somewhere. When we were in DC, we were living in extremely tight quarters. We did not have privacy. We did not have privacy in a lot of different ways. We lived at a school, a boarding school. And it wasn't a yuppie one. It was an old 1940s or 1950s elementary school that had been converted into a boarding school. And yes, it was nice and updated and all that. It wasn't like horrifying, but privacy was not a thing there. It was very weird. So anyway, interestingly enough, my wife never drove at all. She might have driven one time, maybe one time in the entire year that we were there. So that means she didn't drive herself out to the coffee shop. We lived life together constantly. We took walks together. We did everything was together. And our relationship is very special. And we both recognize that God is more important than each other, which is a crucial ingredient in a successful relationship. You need to be dependent on God and not dependent on each other. However, you are in relationship with each other, and everything that you do, and all your words and actions and all that stuff impacts one another because you are one. So there's that. So we have broken down what it would mean, the limited space and all of that. And she's the stay-at-home one. So I was extremely critical and dismissive of this concept that was her idea in the first place. I was extremely dismissive and critical of the concept because she is a stay-at-home mom. Limited space, limited opportunity, higher supervision, just the opposite of what is convenient, the opposite of what is easy. However, all of this whole situation goes into the whole nature of preparing for the future. We're not thinking that we're going to be in an RV for life necessarily. The plan is the ability to be mobile and move to the farm unity when that becomes a thing. And you move to the farm unity, you have an RV, so you instantly have your living and your hookup situation, and then you build. Why do you build? Because you already have an RV. Well, you build because you need to learn those skills, and it's all part of the farm unity to work together and teach others and all that good stuff. But it all is part of a longer term thing, and we know whatever RV we might end up starting with is not the one that we necessarily might keep, and that's why we're not going to squander, So I have this land that I'm trying to sell, and the recent concept is don't squander all the money. That's still there. It hasn't sold yet, and even if it does, that I'm not going to go out and spend all of that money. So there's a lot about all of that was shared with me. Excellent words, very, very good stuff that I'm not trying to say that I'm just dismissing it. What I am trying to say is a lot of that stuff we have already discussed and thought through. I've talked about being a pizza delivery driver. I've talked about shooting. My brother-in-law does weddings. He does it as a side hustle with the youth pastor of the church that he goes to. So he just gets paid like $25 an hour as a side person taking auxiliary photos, but it's $25 an hour. And if it was a full-time gig, that'd be great, right? But it's not a full-time gig. It's not consistent income. So he just does it as a side thing from time to time. And I could do that too. I could do housing inspection. I could do a lot of different things. But my resistance to that is what has happened in the past is you work and you work and you work, and finances are a little bit more comfortable, but you have to keep feeding the beast. And so what you're telling me is you want to have your cake and eat it too. You think that you're the exception. You think that you somehow like earned your privilege or right to just work one job. You think you're special. You only want to work one job and make all the moolah. No, I have earned it, and I've had some stuff taken away from me, and I'm working my way back up. Again, there was a traumatic event in 2018 that set me back, turned my financial life completely upside down, and I'm still recovering from that. It's still affecting my life. Even the money's gone, I'll never see it again, all of that. However, it still affects me. How does it still affect you? Because all the accounts that I could no longer make payments on are now in the process of being with collectors. They've all been sold. The credit card companies have all sold them off, charged it off, and now it's in the hands of these special companies that are collectors, and they use their dog the bounty hunter techniques to try and bully you into submission, and they're going to try and squeeze this rock and get some water from this rock because that's what they would have to do is a miracle. Oh, that they could take your land. They could take my land. That's true. But it's land, it's not a home, and it's got no liens, and they have to take me to court for that. That's part of why I have it on the market, because it was supposed to be where my wife and I would build our home someday. We can't do that anymore because bureaucracy decided to ruin my life. Oh, so you're not going to accept responsibility for your own? No, because a situation took place that literally stole lots of money from me because I was led falsely by the company I was working for. So again, the company I used to work for didn't cheat me. They lied and were stupid and ignorant. They didn't technically do the cheating because they didn't financially gain. It was the government that financially gained, but in a very convoluted, mixed up kind of way. And they didn't even benefit directly. They benefited indirectly. And it's all messed up, and it's probably just, you just blame it on the devil because, blame everything on that guy. And I'm not making light of that because it's probably the devil's work, but it's not that hard to understand that the devil works with the government. But then, anyway, we'll move on. So there are so many different things that I have contemplated I look for side opportunities. I'm more and more leaning towards finding potential side part-time or per diem, not per diem, uh, PRN type work, pro renata for those Latin lovers. If you're a lover of Latin, pro renata, PRN, it means as needed work. But anyway, I'm finding opportunities. I haven't yet applied. I probably should, but I'm looking for stuff that I can do not scheduled. So I found some like part-time accounting, stuff like that. If it has to do with Excel, I can blow people's socks out of the water. That's not even a saying. You just made that up. I made that up. I made that up, bro. That's right. That's right. I made that up. Blow socks out of the water. That's what's up. So anyway, first and foremost, the RV thing was my wife's idea from the get-go. I was highly critical of it because I was being protective of her. Continued to try to rationalize how it would be even remotely conceivable. We discussed all the different aspects that are related. Belongings, yard sale. Have we sold everything we own before? Yeah, when we moved from North Carolina to DC into a tiny little 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and that was the only space that we had to ourselves. We had to get rid of everything, and we put some stuff in storage, like books and keepsakes. That was it. We had to start all over, and yeah, would we be doing that all over again? It's just stuff. It's just stuff. Yeah, but stuff costs money. Well, yeah, I know. No. Our priorities are not financial security. It sounds like that when I'm talking about making less money so that we can do more, blah, blah. And that sounds like financial security. Much like good old Owen Benjamin states, to be as disconnected from depending on the system as possible is by far the ideal. And there is an ultimate limit, lower limit, eventually. It gets down to where there's nothing more you can cut. And I get that. It makes perfect sense. But if there is room that you can shave down, then do it. Do it. So is it a solution to all of the problems? No, it's not. Do I need a better position? And am I actively trying and applying for all sorts of different positions at all kinds of different levels? Higher, obviously higher pay. Just by nature of not being a contractor and doing the same job. If I were in the exact same position I am right now, and I were just a permanent employee, I would immediately get a couple of $1,000 raise immediately, at least a couple thousand. I think it'd be about 5 or 6, 30, maybe 30. I don't know. Maybe only 4. Maybe only 4,000. But that's the thing. The position I'm in right now, they don't open up permanent billets, they call them, in the department that I'm in because contractors are less expensive. So you do all the work, but you don't get the gravy. That's what the dude last night said, the other RV owner. But you're right. I mean, when you're renting, your landlord takes care of everything. But it's like the insurance argument. Well, when you have a $900 a month insurance, some families pay $900 a month for health insurance. I know those families that are paying $900 a month for health insurance, the same amount as my rent. So here's the thing. I say, did you spend $10,000? Did you accrue $10,800 in hospital bills in the course of the last couple of years even? No. Oh, so what you need, and you know this, is catastrophe insurance. And that can be done in a lot of different ways, like in a health share program, like Christian Healthcare Ministries, that is there as a safety net, unless you're on regular prescription medication that is extremely expensive without health insurance, then you don't need all that nonsense. Anyway, so in what we could save if we went down to that level, all the things that have had to be fixed in the house that we're renting, if we were to have had to buy them out of pocket, and you add them all together, the rent savings would pay for what has been fixed a lot more. Oh, but you're not thinking of yeah, I'm just chill out. I'm just talking about repairs only. So a stove, a refrigerator, fixing both of the showers in the home that we're renting, toilet, and what else? That's it. But 2 years, if I were to just do $400 times about 20 months, it's $8,000. Yeah, $8,000. We have not gotten anywhere close to $8,000 in repairs. Nowhere close. About 2,400 max. Oh yeah, but AC on it, or everything can't be. It's not everything. Usually, when repairs happen, it's like a lot at the same time. I understand. I get it. I know, but there are pros and cons to renting. There's pros and cons to owning. There's pros and cons to owning your own home, flat out owning it. Yeah, but you got to be able to survive. You got to live life, and you gotta have elbow room, and it's just aggravating. And you're right. I'm not arguing with you on all that. The transition is crazy. It is crazy. And there are a lot of people that have done it. Oh, sure did. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm just in the gun store. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm just in the gun store. Welcome, everybody. I didn't realize there was like 8 people here. I figured there'd be like 0.5 people. But anyway, shout out to my buddy that bought my wife's necklace. And if any of y'all want to check out my wife's necklaces, go to Straight Up Chillin' video on my channel. Just go to my channel. Go to Straight Up Chillin'. It was a couple of days ago. And you can see at the beginning of the video, and you can see all the way at the end of the video, I show you the necklace, and I name the name, and just send me a message, and tell me what you want. And if it's already been purchased, that's okay. She'll make another one. So they're handmade. They're reasonable. Pretty much just going to do a flat $10 for shipping. Guys, as long as you're in America. If you're in a different country, then we'll just figure out how much it is, and it'll be like $15 or $20 or something. It won't be that much. But anyway, we are going to go look at another camper tonight, and it's interesting, guys. You know how sometimes people say, well, in the relationship, he's the balloon and I'm the tether, or she's the balloon and I'm the tether. My wife and I take turns tethering each other back to reality, depending on the topic. Some of us can be more, sometimes one of us will be more balloony than the other. What is balloony? I don't know. What do you mean? So, pipe dream. Dreaming about what could be. We take turns having fantastic ideas. And every now and then we say, oh no, we're going to go do that. We're going to do that. So, and we do. And we have been living an adventure. My son is 3, and he is living in the 4th home. He's living in his 4th home. He lived in Boone, then he lived in Asheville, then he lived in DC, and then he was born in Boone. Then he lived in DC, now he lives in Pensacola. And that's my 3-year-old. My oldest and my and my middle, so my first 2 daughters, they lived. Y'all shaking your hand at me? Chill out. Y'all need to chill out. Y'all just need to relax. I'm going 5 under. It's good practice, guys, to just chill out. It is good to chill. It's good to relax. It really is. You're so much less stressful than like always having to look at, oh, it's a cop. Do you know how much more relaxing it is to be, oh, look, it's a cop. I wonder what he's doing. I bet he's going to get somebody. But I know it's not going to be me. Oh, I bet you're saying that because of your blonde hair. For those of you that have seen my blonde privilege video, you'll get it. You get it. Or maybe you don't. So, see if there's colder air. Anyway, it's so chill. It's so chill to just be able to just obey the law. So much more relaxing. And that's what it means. Being free in Christ means the freedom. You guys really misunderstand the freedom. It's all good. We'll talk about it from time to time. Get everybody on the same page. Being obedient to the law is freedom. Being subject to the consequences of the law is slavery. And we are no longer slaves to the law because through Christ, we've been set free from the consequences of what the law does to condemn us to hell. And because the Holy Spirit lives within us, we have been made able to love God by keeping His commandments. It's very juxtaposing, but it's good and it's important. It's all good. But anyway, guys, my wife and I, we don't have a white picket fence. We don't have a 401k. We don't have these plans. We don't have retirement. We don't plan on it. We're just going to die. We're just going to die. Well, that's really naive. Yeah, something horrible's going to happen and you're not going to have anything to fall back on. You're going to be a Walmart greeter. If I could be so lucky. If I could be so lucky to be a Walmart greeter in my wheelchair with my oxygen that I can't afford because the oxygen literally costs the same as my hourly wage if I could be so lucky to live that life. Wow, you're really naive. You're really naive. Maybe. Or maybe my priorities are about working till the day I die. Do I have the concept of having a hammer in my hand until the day I die? No, not necessarily. Although my grandfather got pretty stinking close. Pretty stinking close. He turns 90 this year, if he can make it. He's on his way out, but if he can make it, he'll turn 90. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. He said he thought he could 5 years ago. Well, 4.5 years ago. But things change. Dude is going out like a boss, though. I'm telling you. His esophagus doesn't work all the way, so some of the food that he eats goes into his lungs. And they want to put him on the thing, the food feeding tube or whatever. And he refused. Said, nope, not me. No thanks. I'll just take my card and let my time go. And he did that, and it's almost been a whole year. It was like summer of last year. So he's made it 9 months. And they thought he was gone in a week. Like, no, you're going to last like a week or two. You should do this. It's like, nah, no thanks. I don't know. It's pretty hardcore. I might have opted for the feeding tube. I don't know. It depends on the details and stuff. So there's providence related to all this. So, but I hope he makes it to 90, at least. Hey, I hope he gets healed and his throat works again. That'd be even better. That'd be great if he could, outlive all kinds of stuff. He survived cancer and a hip replacement. Pretty serious. But the dude did forging of iron and blacksmithing for decades. Pretty epic dude, my grandfather. Yep. Anyway, that was tangential. Let's see. So yeah, don't forget about the necklaces. I know I'm sounding really Birch Goldie, but my wife made them. I love my wife, and they're really great. They're pretty and stuff. Don't wear them if you're a man, because that's just horrifying. But definitely get them for your mom or wife or something. Maybe girlfriend, but probably not. Don't do that. You don't need to prove anything except your integrity and your love for Jesus. That's all. Integrity and your love for Jesus, which is part of the same thing, but you get the point. That's all you need to prove if you have a girlfriend. You don't need to buy your girlfriend stuff. Anyway. Oh, you don't know very much, do you? I do. I was the sucker, guys. I was the sucker. Very familiar with being the sucker. Don't be a sucker. Don't be a sucker. You can't buy it. Don't buy it. Just be it. Don't buy it, be it. Oh, it's pretty deep, man. I know. Thank you. I am deep from time to time. That was a red light. I read your comments, and now everybody's or chilling. I can't remember. Is the video with all my wife's necklaces. She's going to make more, and I'll bring it up again, and I'll show off her necklaces again. They were named epically poetic names, and I'm serious when I say that. Anyway, check them out. See if you want one. $25 for the little ones, $35 for the big ones, and about $10 shipping. Pretty easy breezy. And there you go. And yeah, that is really inexpensive. I know. way less than I guess you would normally find the same thing elsewhere. And does it go to a good cause? I'm not keeping the money. That goes to her. Oh, what's she gonna do with it? Guys, first of all, she needs to recuperate some losses. She started a website that I'll share with you guys when it's all the way live. But she started a website, and that had a little bit of startup cost because, domain name and hosting and all that. So she's like, it was one lump sum, and I was like, it's okay. It's okay. We'll work it out. So anyway, her necklaces will just go to support that. And she wants her blogs. Maybe we'll look into Patreon because I suppose there's ways that both of us could do that. It's just Patreon has such a negative reputation, especially for conservative people, people that I don't know how many Christian Jesus lovers there are on Patreon, but there might be a few. We're not setting out to be extremely controversial, but even the most mundane things like murder is bad is now controversial. So it doesn't mean we're going to stop saying it. We're just going to be selective about where we say it, on our own platform, or subject ourselves to somebody else's. Oh yeah, but you get it. Hopefully you get it. All right, we're at a screen though. I got no time. How many? I'm just scrolling. That's a lot of comments. Well, we got Ballylocks here, so maybe Ballylocks is answering any questions that he can answer. So thank you for being here, there, Ballylocks. What are we numbered at? 5. We were at 8, I think. So I really lost interest in a couple of people. It's all good. I just share my life and the updates, and then try to teach things from time to time. That has been lacking recently, and I will get more dedicated. And what's the other word? Organized. I'll get back on it, guys. I'll get back on it. I don't want to neglect. Know what I mean? I ain't trying to neglect. That Pokemon backpack is so common. It's so hilarious. Seeing like a 30-year-old, 40-year-old walking around with a Pokemon backpack, super long hair and a beard and a tank top. Probably has patchouli oil in his shoes. Probably. Just like, wow, Pikachu. I wonder if that's like a voyeuristic thing. I never thought of it that way, but as I say it, I'm all of a sudden creeped out by the name Pikachu. And if you think of the Pokemon ball, it kind of looks like a camera peek at you. That's kind of creepy. Never thought of it that way. But, yeah, that's no good. I played Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64, and then I played the Pokemon games on the Game Boy, but not on the Game Boy, on the emulator, on my computer when I was in college. Guess what kind of games I play now? Words with Friends, with my mom and my wife, sometimes. That's the only game I play now. I've limited it all the way down to that. Now all I do is check out YouTube channels of people that I'm subscribed to. I never go scrolling on YouTube, really. But, yeah, just check out folks' stuff. And there's plenty. I'm subscribed to like 1,200 people, so. And one quarter of the people that I'm subscribed to are subscribed to me. How about that? All right, well, here we are. I'm going to take a quick gander. Hello, Brad. Hello, Freddie. Hello, Eagle Eyes. Fisty. Absolutely, Freddie. Lacey, welcome. Yeah, dude, I know about Striper. To hell with the devil. I know about Striper, dude. I know about Striper. Black and yellow, God's army. Yeah, man, I listened to Striper. Oh, all the family's coming out. All right, I'll see you guys later.
Hello, Daddy.